Speaking to Politico, Ms. Solberg claimed the UK could become the largest economy in the EU, ousting Norway from the superpower position it holds on the continent whilst remaining outside of the EU. The Norwegian PM argued the advantage of the UK joining the EU and EFTA would be the untarnished functioning of the EU single market post-Brexit. But Ms. Solberg warned if Prime Minister Theresa May decided to go down this route, her decision could be met with dismissal by Leave voters. She said, "There will be benefits and disadvantages if the UK joins EFTA. First of all, this is the only organization of which Norway is a superpower. Losing that is, of course, quite important. Then Britain becomes the superpower in that organization." European Council, get a Brexit news. Norway PM warns May joining EFTA would not be accepted by Brexiteers, but then, of course, we have different interests on businesses. Now, we are more like-minded, the three countries who are in the EU agreement. And Britain has a different economy, they are larger in, for example, agricultural imports and exports. So, of course, there will be some disadvantages with it. But on the other hand, the advantage for Norway will be that Europe and the internal market will be functioning the best, the least barriers we have between ourselves. We'd have to have a good discussion on it, but it's difficult to see that we should not accept that. It would be very difficult for the British to go that way after a referendum. Ms. Solberg, as a politician, I think this would be very difficult for the British to go that way after a referendum. One of the important parts to always remember is when you ask people for their advice and you get it in that type of situation, respect for the political system is also to understand that when you've asked for the advice you have to follow it. Britain has been urged to join the European Free Trade Association Court by former Judge Karl Boudenbacher. Mr. Boudenbacher claimed EFTA would be a solution to Brexit for the UK, insisting the court shared the same values as Britain and would allow the country to remain sovereign. Speaking exclusively to Express.co.uk, the judge who represented Liechtenstein as a judge for the EFTA court said the door was not closed to Britain taking up the Norway option. He said, when the EFTA court was created it consisted of 5 participated member states. The EU was growing and growing, so the original thoughts were the Union would impose its values on these EFTA states, and those values are largely influenced by French and German thinking. Not so much by Nordic thinking or British thinking. Yet, EFTA had been around for more than 30 years, and EFTA has its own convictions, its own values. For instance, they believe in free trade. They believe in open markets. They believe in a modern image of man. When I'm now with hindsight analyzing our case law, and also my contributions to this case law, I am seeing that we are rather orientated to these EFTA values, free trade, open markets and alike. If Britain were to bring 1 or 2 judges to the EFTA court, in my view this would contribute to making this even more accentuated. There has always been this, not a split, but 2 different views of the market economy in the countries in the north and the countries of the south that probably goes back to a region split in the 16th century. It may go back to the Age of Enlightenment. There were 2 types of the market economy developed, one more British style and one more French style, and this has never really gone away.